The silent behaviors that make people take you seriously. Imagine a high-stakes boardroom meeting. Executives are sparring, voices talking over each other, everyone vying to be heard. Amid the chaos sits one individual, calm and composed. They haven't spoken much at all, yet when they straighten in their chair and quietly clear their throat, the entire room falls silent. All eyes turn to them. In that moment, without a single raised voice, authority shifts. Their mere presence and poise have done what shouting could not. This is the power of silent behavior, commanding respect without uttering a word. Welcome to Strategic Doctrine, Episode 2. The silent behaviors that make people take you seriously. In our last episode, we explored why competence alone will never give you authority. We learned that simply being good at what you do isn't enough. You also need to project authority. Today, we dive into how the unsaid and the unspoken can solidify that authority. From body language and stillness to the art of strategic silence, we'll uncover how people unconsciously respond to silent cues and how you can cultivate them for leadership. As the Renaissance master Leonardo da Vinci once observed, nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. Throughout history, great strategists and thinkers have echoed this idea. From Sun Tzu's ancient wisdom to Machiavelli's political cunning to Robert Greene's modern laws of power, the consensus is clear. What you don't say can be as powerful as what you do say. In this episode, we'll break down the silent signals that command respect, backed by historical insights and brought to life through vivid examples. So take a deep breath, settle into a comfortable silence, and let's explore how to speak volumes without saying a word. The strategic power of saying less. We live in a world overwhelmed by noise, everyone clamoring to express opinions, prove competence, or assert dominance. But here's the paradox. Often, the more you say, the less impact you have. True authority often speaks in silence. Niccolò Machiavelli, the infamous author of The Prince, understood the value of perception. He noted that everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. People judge by appearances and signals, not just substance. If you appear composed and confident, measured in words and actions, they will project strength onto you, regardless of what's beneath. Modern strategist Robert Greene takes this further. In his 48 Laws of Power, law number 4 is blunt. Always say less than necessary. Greene writes, "Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish." In other words diluted by excess lose their weight, while restraint commands respect. When you speak only when you have purpose, people perk up and listen. Your silence before speaking creates suspense. Your words, when finally delivered, carry heft. Think of a time you were in a conversation and someone gave a short, calm answer after everyone else rambled. Their quiet confidence likely made their words hit harder. As Greene suggests, talking less puts you in control. It prevents you from revealing insecurities or trivialities. It also creates a bit of mystery. Others start wondering, what is she thinking? She must have a good reason to be this reserved. That mystery itself is a form of power. Historical and strategic thinkers have long valued the tactical pause. Sun Tzu, the legendary general, taught that secrecy and timing are crucial. He said, "Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt." In battle, the most devastating blow is the one not telegraphed by noise or bluster. Translated to personal authority, keep your intentions quiet and strike decisively when the moment is right. By not advertising every thought, you enhance the impact of your actions. Fictional example. The quiet negotiator. Consider a tense business negotiation. Two companies are hashing out a deal. One side's team bombards the room with chatter, overselling their position and interrupting each other. The other side's leader, let's call her Anna, remains mostly silent. She listens intently, hands folded calmly, eyes never leaving the speakers. When provoked with a tough question, Anna simply smiles and stays quiet for a beat longer than comfortable. The talkative team, unsettled by the silence, starts conceding points, filling the void with nervous justifications. Only after listening to everything does Anna speak, and she does so softly, with a concise proposal that addresses exactly the other side's concerns. Her words are few but carefully chosen. By the end of the meeting, who holds the most sway? The one who spoke least. Anna's strategic quietude made her seem confident and in command, compelling the others to lean in and take her seriously. This example illustrates a key principle. Silence is a tool. Use it consciously. Pausing before you speak can subtly signal that you're weighing your words, implying thoughtfulness and self-assurance. And if you don't speak at all on a matter, it often prods others to defer to you, or at least to wonder what's going on behind your calm exterior. Machiavelli would approve of this tactic. He believed that a leader should never reveal the full hand. By not reacting immediately or verbosely, you conceal your intentions, one of Machiavelli's cardinal rules. It forces people to respect the unknown. As some interpreters put it, restraint builds mystery, and mystery creates authority. When you refrain from blurting out every thought, you project an image of wisdom and self-control. In contrast, over-explaining or oversharing can make you seem common and less in command. To be clear, being silent doesn't mean lacking ideas or strength. It means choosing your moments of expression for maximum impact. In the strategic use of silence, less truly is more. Body language. Speaking without words. Authority isn't just about what you say or don't say. It's also about what your body says without a word. Humans are highly attuned to nonverbal cues. In fact, studies suggest that when forming first impressions, we make snap judgments about someone's confidence and authority within seconds, before they've even spoken a word. We unconsciously read posture, eye contact, facial expressions, and movement to gauge a person's presence and credibility. Think about it. A slouched, fidgeting person who avoids eye contact radiates uncertainty, no matter how fine their words. But someone who stands tall, grounded in stance, and meets your gaze with calm steadiness projects confidence and gravitas. The content of their speech could be identical, but the impression they make will be worlds apart. As one communication expert noted, without a single word being spoken, people rely on nonverbal communication to size others up. So, what are the key silent signals in body language that make people take you seriously? Posture and stillness. Keeping a straight but relaxed posture, shoulders back, head up, immediately gives an aura of readiness and self-assurance. Pair that with stillness. Resist the urge to fidget, nod excessively, or make erratic gestures. The most powerful person in the room is often the one who isn't nervously darting around. Stillness conveys control. Think of portraits of historic leaders. They're depicted with a steady posture and composed hands exuding calm power. When you hold yourself steady, others subconsciously believe you're steady under pressure. Eye contact. The eyes can project silent authority like nothing else. Direct but friendly eye contact shows confidence. It says you're not afraid and have nothing to hide. Shifty or downcast eyes, on the other hand, can signal insecurity or subservience. Don't stare aggressively. Just meet others' gaze steadily when speaking, and especially when listening. A leader who looks people in the eye while listening signals respect and quiet confidence. Facial expression. A calm, neutral, or slightly serious face at rest can give you an aura of depth. You don't need to plaster a fake smile. Often a slight, knowing smile or a composed poker face holds far more power. For example, raising an eyebrow or holding a subtle smile as someone else speaks, instead of interrupting, can silently communicate, "I'm evaluating what you're saying." It keeps people guessing and again, it shows restraint. In contrast, someone whose face immediately telegraphs panic or anger at every provocation loses authority. Mastering your micro-expressions, the small smiles, nods, or frowns, helps you stay in control of the message you send without words. Gestures and movement. Purposeful, controlled movements beat frantic ones. When you do use hand gestures, make them intentional and aligned with your words. For instance, a single decisive hand movement can underline a point far better than a bunch of flailing motions. And don't feel the need to fill every moment with movement. Sometimes the most powerful gesture is simply standing still. If you walk, do so with measured pace. If you take a seat, do it with a sense of deliberateness. Every physical action or inaction sends a message. Make sure it's saying, "I'm in command of myself." Let's illustrate these ideas with another scenario. Fictional example. The unflinching general. Picture an ancient battlefield at dawn. Two armies face each other, tense and ready. In the ranks of the first army, soldiers glance back at their commander. He's pacing nervously on his horse, shouting last-minute orders and fidgeting with his sword. His anxious energy spreads. You can see doubt creeping into his troops' eyes. Across the field, the Second Army's commander sits motionless atop his horse. He's clad in simple armor, flag fluttering behind him. He isn't yelling or rushing about. He surveys the enemy quietly, back straight, breathing steady. At first, his soldiers shuffle in uncertainty. Why is he so quiet? But then they notice his aura of calm. He seems utterly untroubled by the approaching clash. He simply raises one hand and the entire regiment straightens up, eyes forward. Without a word, he has signaled, "Hold steady, we've got this." When the battle begins, which army do you think fights with greater conviction? The one led by the frantic commander, or the one under the leader whose composed stillness instilled confidence before a single sword was drawn? The general's silent poise becomes a source of strength for his men. His lack of visible fear or frenzy tells them, through body language alone, that he believes in the strategy and in them. This is leadership through presence. As Sun Tzu might say, true leadership often appears effortless. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle, and sometimes the mere presence of a confident leader prevents panic and defeat. The lesson here: your body can broadcast authority 24/7, even when your mouth stays shut. By consciously cultivating confident body language, you silently prime others to treat you as a leader. People will often feel your leadership before you even speak a word. The art of stillness and composure. There's a particular subset of silent behavior that is both rare and incredibly compelling. Emotional restraint, the ability to stay composed and still, especially under provocation. In life and leadership, moments of pressure or confrontation are inevitable. How you silently respond in those moments can either elevate your authority or erode it. Have you ever seen someone remain unflinchingly calm when being challenged or insulted? It's memorable, even a bit disconcerting, to witness. Most people get flustered, raise their voice, or hastily defend themselves when attacked. But the person who can hold their peace, perhaps tilting their head or offering a tight-lipped smile in response, often comes out looking stronger. Their silence under fire makes the aggressor look over-eager, even foolish. As the old wisdom goes, when arguing with a fool, the listener can't tell who is who. The one who stays quiet avoids falling into that trap, and often the angry person winds down, unsure how to proceed when met with stillness. Machiavelli and other shrewd observers realized that restraint is a weapon. By not reacting, you deny your opponent the fuel they seek. You also project confidence. It shows that their barbs don't unsettle you. In a way, maintaining composure is a silent way of dominating the situation. The 48 laws of power also allude to this. Never appear too eager to defend yourself or explain, because calm silence can be far more intimidating. It suggests you know your worth and you're not rattled by others' opinions. Fictional example. the dignified accusation. Imagine a public town hall meeting. A community leader, Jamal, is on stage taking questions. Suddenly, an angry man in the audience stands up and hurls an unjust accusation at him, his voice dripping with hostility. Many would expect Jamal to retaliate, to immediately deny the claim, and maybe return the anger. Instead, Jamal does something powerful. He takes a slow breath and just looks at the man for a moment. The room holds its breath. Jamal's face remains neutral. No flush of anger, no scowl. When he finally speaks, it's in a measured, low tone. "I hear your concern," he says, briefly and calmly. "Let's discuss the facts." No defensive rant, no emotional outburst, just a controlled response after a moment of silence. The outcome? The aggressive man, expecting a fight, suddenly looks a bit uncertain, even petty. The audience shifts in Jamal's favor. Murmurs of respect ripple through the crowd. By not fighting fire with fire, by maintaining composure, Jamal appeared statesmanlike and mature. His silence and calm rebuttal made the accuser seem out of line and earned Jamal greater authority in the eyes of everyone watching. This example shows that silence and stillness in tense moments can act like a judo move, using the force of the other person's aggression against them. Sun Tzu taught the value of patience in conflict. Sometimes the best move is to wait and do nothing until the right opportunity. Likewise, in verbal conflicts, silence disarms. It's hard to argue with someone who refuses to be provoked. Your stillness says, "I am not controlled by this chaos." And unconsciously, people equate that self-control with leadership. Cultivating this level of restraint isn't easy. It takes practice to master your immediate emotional reactions. Techniques from stoicism or mindfulness can help, training yourself to pause, breathe, and assess rather than instantly react. But the payoff is huge. When you develop a habit of pausing instead of panicking, you become the person who stays cool when everyone else is losing their heads. As the saying goes, in the midst of the storm, be the calm. That calm is contagious and commanding. Machiavelli would argue that being unreadable is crucial to maintaining power. If others can't easily decipher your feelings, they can't easily manipulate you. Your silence keeps them guessing. There's a Machiavellian principle at play. Keep your intentions and emotions close to the chest. By the time your opponent or critic figures out what you're thinking, it's too late. You've already won, or at least you haven't lost your dignity. In sum, the art of stillness, the ability to project calm, to restrain yourself from impulsive reactions, creates a gravitational pull around you. People lean in to the person who isn't swept up by emotion, trusting that individual to lead in a crisis. It reinforces that you possess an inner strength, and inner strength, quietly displayed, commands respect. Observation and listening, the silent advantage. Silent authority isn't only about projecting outward cues. It's also about what you take in quietly. One of the most underestimated leadership skills is listening. In a culture of constant talking, the attentive listener stands out as wise and confident. By observing and listening more than you speak, you gain knowledge, and you also gain influence over others, almost without them realizing it. Robert Greene notes in his writings that power often comes to the one who listens, because information is control. When you remain silent and let others speak, two things happen. You learn their intentions and ideas, and they often feel more bonded to you because you gave them the space to be heard. Ironically, they'll ascribe insight to you, even if you've said little, because you now understand the situation deeply and can respond with precision. Sun Tzu employed spies and valued knowing the enemy thoroughly before making a move. In leadership contexts, being observant is your form of intelligence gathering. While others are busy broadcasting themselves, you're quietly picking up the signals, the mood of the team, the subtext in negotiations, the strengths and weaknesses in others. That silent accumulation of knowledge becomes power. It allows you to make strategic decisions that surprise those who thought you were passive. They won't see your moves coming because they assumed your silence meant you had nothing to contribute, when in fact you were assembling all the pieces on the board. Another unconscious effect is at play. People tend to view good listeners as wise and trustworthy. Think of a mentor or elder who mostly listens and then offers a brief, profound comment. We often admire and trust those who let us speak because we feel understood. By listening intently, you silently build rapport and respect. The person speaking to you might even start to value your presence more, because in their eyes, you get them when nobody else does. Consider a leader in a team meeting who asks for everyone's input and truly listens, speaking only after everyone else. Such a leader will often find that the team is more receptive when it's finally their turn to speak. Why? Because by that point, the team feels that their perspectives were acknowledged, and the leader's silence signaled confidence rather than disengagement. When that leader now gives their decision or vision, it's enriched by all the information gathered and carries the weight of someone who has listened and thus speaks with understanding. There's a silent behavior here to cultivate: active listening cues. Paradoxically, listening isn't 100% silent. You should nod occasionally, acknowledge points with a calm "mm-hmm" or a brief "I see," but resist the urge to cut in or one-up the speaker. Your restrained feedback encourages them to open up more. Meanwhile, you maintain the upper hand by guiding the conversation with minimal words. In practice, try this exercise. In your next discussion, whether at work or among friends, deliberately speak last. Focus on asking gentle, open-ended questions, and then be quiet. Notice how others respond. You may find that people start addressing you with more respect or seek your approval because you gave them the platform first. And when you do give your opinion after hearing everyone, it will be better informed and often more persuasive as a result of that strategic listening. This is the silent advantage, knowledge and trust acquired through observation. It amplifies your authority because you'll be seen as thoughtful and fair. You become the person who doesn't need to boast or dominate the conversation to lead. Instead, you lead by synthesizing and elevating the conversation at the right moment. The aura of quiet confidence. What do all these silent behaviors add up to? They create something almost tangible around you, an aura of quiet confidence. Over time, consistently displaying these behaviors builds what some call gravitas, a presence that exudes wisdom, reliability, and weight. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly noticed a particular person, not because they were the loudest, but because something about their demeanor drew your attention? Perhaps they were standing calmly, observing the room with a slight smile, completely at ease. That indefinable quality that draws others in is often gravitas, the product of silent behaviors and self-assurance. Machiavelli wrote that, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." Knowing how to command often means commanding oneself first, one's own tongue, one's temper, one's movements. By showing that self-mastery, you send a signal to others that you might just be capable of leading them too. In his 48 Laws of Power, Greene also discusses acting like a king to be treated like one. This isn't about arrogance or ostentation, but about carrying yourself with dignity and certainty. A historical example he cites is Haile Selassie of Ethiopia. As a young man of no great rank, Selassie's dignity, calmness, and self-confidence gave him a royal bearing that was noticed by those in power. He acted like a king with quiet grace, long before he wore a crown, and eventually, he indeed became emperor. The takeaway: carry yourself as if you already have the authority you seek, and others will often start to believe it. Silent behaviors are the foundation of that illusion become reality. The straight posture, the measured words, the patient smile, they all signal a person who believes in themselves. and belief is contagious. Another facet of quiet confidence is the power of not needing to prove yourself. When you have gravitas, you don't rush to correct every misunderstanding or brag about your achievements. You let your results and your composed demeanor speak for you. This restraint in self-promotion actually makes people more curious and impressed. It's the difference between a speaker who says, "I'm an expert, trust me," versus one who simply delivers insight calmly. The latter ends up appearing far more the expert. Your unsaid confidence invites people to conclude on their own that you must be competent and powerful, which is much stronger than you telling them outright. Now, let's summarize and concretely highlight some of these silent behaviors that build an aura of authority and how you can cultivate them. Controlled posture and stillness. Practice maintaining good posture and steady, intentional movements. Do exercises in your daily life. For instance, when waiting in line, stand straight and resist fidgeting. Over time, this will become natural. Others will read your stillness as calm confidence. Measured speech and pausing. Get comfortable with pauses in your speech. You can train this by pausing for 1 or 2 seconds before answering a question in casual conversations. It might feel long to you, but it appears thoughtful to others. Also, edit your spoken thoughts. Aim to convey your point in fewer, impactful words rather than rambling. Remember Greene's advice, less is more. Active listening. When someone else speaks, truly listen. Make brief eye contact, nod, or give a quiet "I understand" when appropriate, but mostly let them talk. Notice how much more information you gather. Not only will you make better decisions with this intel, but people will start respecting your presence because they feel heard and valued by you. A silent way to win loyalty. Emotional composure. Work on your poker face and patience. The next time you receive criticism or provocation, practice the art of not reacting immediately. Inhale, exhale, and deliver a response only when you can do so calmly. Even if you have to say, "I'll consider that," and address it later, it's better than a heated knee-jerk reaction. This will train others to see you as level-headed and resilient. Deliberate eye contact. Make a habit of holding eye contact a bit longer when someone speaks to you or when you state your point. Coupled with a relaxed face, this signals both confidence and respect. It may feel intense at first, but that intensity is exactly what creates a memorable presence. Minimal and purposeful gestures. Try using one decisive hand gesture to emphasize a strong point, then returning to stillness. Avoid excessive nodding or saying constantly. It can undercut the perception of authority by seeming overly eager. Silence in your responses, at measured times, shows that you're considering things deeply. Each of these practices reinforces the others. Together, they form a silent symphony of confidence that others pick up on instinctively. People won't necessarily say, it's because of his posture or her pausing. They'll just feel that this person has something extra, an intangible weight or credibility. That's your silent aura working its magic. Conclusion. Lower voice. In a world filled with noise, the quiet one often holds the real power. Authority is reinforced by what is unsaid, the aura and restraint that build gravity around a person. By mastering silent behaviors, you're not suppressing your voice. You're amplifying your impact. Your stillness makes your actions louder. Your silence makes your words stronger. Your composure makes your leadership steadier. Remember the boardroom story from the start. One calm individual quieted a room full of shouting voices, or the general whose silent confidence rallied an army. These aren't just stories. They're reflections of how human psychology responds in everyday life. We unconsciously tip our caps to those who command themselves and seem unperturbed. We are drawn to those who listen and observe because they make us feel seen while remaining somewhat enigmatic. We respect those who don't cheapen their authority with too many words or emotional outbursts. Cultivating this silent authority is a journey. It requires self-awareness and practice. You might start by focusing on just one aspect, say, improving your posture and reducing fidgeting this week, or practicing intentional pauses in meetings. Over time, these habits layer atop each other and coalesce into a formidable presence. As you develop this quiet strength, you may notice a shift in how people interact with you. Colleagues might start asking for your opinion more, precisely because you're not always giving it freely. Friends might comment on how calm or together you seem, even in stressful times. Opportunities could open up because decision-makers sense you have the gravitas for bigger responsibilities. The beauty of silent behaviors is that anyone can adopt them. You don't need an official title or years of experience to stand a little taller, listen better, and speak with purpose. You can start right now, and the effects will accumulate. So step into your silence with confidence. Embrace pauses as part of your speech. Let your eyes and posture do the talking before your mouth does. Hold back that quick retort and replace it with a thoughtful nod or a knowing smile. In doing so, you are quietly training the world to see you as a force. To close, I'll reiterate that powerful Da Vinci insight we began with. Nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. Carry that wisdom with you. The next time you face a situation where you want respect or need to lead, remember that your silence and stillness can be your greatest allies. Use them wisely. Thank you for listening to Strategic Doctrine, Episode 2. In mastering the silent behaviors that make people take you seriously, you're not just learning a tactic, you're shaping yourself into a leader with genuine presence. Join us next time as we continue exploring the deeper strategies of leadership and power. Until then, practice the power of saying little, and watch how your influence grows in the quiet. Sometimes, the most powerful person in the room is not the one who speaks last. It's the one who speaks least. Stay strategic, stay strong, and as always, let your actions and your silence speak for you.